Hi, it's David Troyer with Intero Real Estate Services here in Los Altos. And today what I'm talking about is Proposition 60 and Proposition 90. Now, these two things are very important. If you are 55 years of age or older and you're thinking about doing a downsize, one of the big questions that comes up, of course, is what can I do with my tax basis? Because if you're in a Prop 13 state like in California, of course, you might have a property that's worth $1.5 million, but your tax basis might only be as low as based on $250,000 of value. So you have a very, relatively speaking, low tax basis, meaning annual tax revenue you have to send to Larry Stone here in Santa Clara County is very small. Now, what happens if you suddenly want to downsize, but your downsize is to an $800,000 condo in downtown Los Altos or Mountain View when you sell your $1.5 million house? Now, obviously paying taxes, essentially almost 2% of $800,000 could take your taxes all up to over $10,000 a year when you're maybe used to paying $2,500 a year. So certainly for a lot of my clients, when they're going into their time period of their life where they're really more on a fixed income, some of those numbers can be quite important and a little bit scary to pick up. Now, the beauty of Proposition 60 is that if you move within your county and you or your spouse is 55 years or older, you have one time in your life you actually can move your tax basis from your original house with the low tax basis to your new downsized house. But of course, the downside still is a lot higher than that original tax basis. Now, remember the few caveats to keep in mind. Of course, one, you or your spouse have to be 55 years or older. Two, you can only do it one time in your life. So I say from a practical standpoint, you have to really think about, how you're going to go through each phase of your life, sort of in your 50s, 60s, 70s plus, and how that might relate to this tax basis concept on when you maybe want to do a downsize. And then the property you can buy. Interestingly enough, if you had already bought the property first that you're going to downsize into, the value of it has to be lower than what you're going to sell your current home for. So you have to be a little bit careful about how you do that, especially if you're selling a $1.5 million house, but then maybe buying a fantastic condo that's $1.4 million. You just have to make darn sure that you are actually buying something technically $1 cheaper than what you sold for. Now, the state does realize that our market is consistently an upward trending market, so they give you a little bit of freedom that if you first sell your house, during the first year, you actually can buy up to 105% of the sales price of what you sold your house for. So for instance, if you sold your house for $1 million, you actually can buy your quote-unquote downsize could be up to $1,050,000, and then during year 1 and 2, it can be 10% above the original value which you sold your downsized house for. So up to, let's say in that scenario, $1.1 million. Now, of course, most of my clients usually buy and sell within a pretty tight market, so they're usually downsizing also in price, less than what they're selling for, so that issue doesn't come into play. But if you are doing something that's very close in number, then you got to pay a lot of attention to those issues and certainly talk to your accountant about how you're managing that process with your realtor to make sure it all goes smoothly so you can obviously capture your wonderful Prop 13 tax basis. And then lastly, if you want to do it within the state, Proposition 90 is sort of a subset law which lets you transfer your taxes from one county to another if the county participates. So right now in the Bay Area, we have reciprocal relationships between Santa Clara County, San Mateo County, and Alameda County. Now, interestingly, you notice I didn't say San Francisco. So if you want to move from Mountain View or Los Altos up to San Francisco, you actually will not get any benefit on the tax basis. So you will reset your new tax basis based on the sales price and not your Prop 13 pricing. Now, you also can move down to Los Angeles County. Los Angeles County, Orange County, and San Diego County currently also participate in Prop 90. So there is some flexibility for you to make these transitions between those counties. But of course, that means the other half of the counties in the state do not participate. So make sure you follow. Every year that number could change. So when you're thinking about your downsize, make sure you, your agent, and your accountant are really planning this all out. If you want to follow a little more information about Proposition 60 and 90, look in the notes in this video under my blog, and you'll see notes there. And if I can ever be of any help in helping you kind of strategize and how you go through a downsize in our area in relation to the financial aspects, and obviously property taxes is just one of the many things you need to consider, I'd love to be of help. I'm David Troyer with Intero Real Estate in Los Altos, and you can reach me at 650-440-5076, or email just david@troyer.com. Thanks so much.